What's up, everyone? It's the God, Young Montu-Ra, and welcome to Montu-Ra, the podcast, where I talk about the good, the bad, and the downright dirty of music, business, and spirituality. What's up, my gods and goddesses? And we are back with another episode of Montu-Ra, the podcast. Happy Moon Day, episode 11. New moon in Cancer, new beginnings. You know what time it is. This new moon is actually going to be potent. It's most potent at 8:32 p.m. CEST time, 7:32 p.m. UK, 2:32 p.m. Eastern Standard, and 11:32 a.m. Pacific time. And this is actually happening today, so we're recording this in real time. A few hours away, but this is that new beginning we've been talking a lot about through this podcast. But this is that start of those revelations that are going to be ushered in with this new moon in Cancer. Remember, we're talking about this water energy, we're talking about the tides of the ocean, we're talking about this psychic energy tapping us in to the mother goddess of the zodiac. But at the same time, we have to understand that normally when we talk about full moons, that's when we like call for action and release. But this new moon in particular, we're going to be more about planning, looking inward for that clarity, because this new moon is stationed in the home sign of Cancer. So this is going to prompt us to, get more acquainted with our emotions, pulling us inward and honoring our own intuitive abilities. Remember, this is something that we've talked a lot about, especially with that full moon in Capricorn being in opposition of the sun in Cancer. So now we have the sun still in Cancer, we have the moon there, and it is going to be, it's going to remind us about the power we have that generates our emotions, right? This is going to change our life and those around us, because we're still talking about our heart center. We're still talking about the foundation of healing. Cancer is going to teach us to heal, restore, and replenish ourselves. Normally, this energy is about nurturing others and looking outside of ourselves and kind of putting ourselves in other people's situations and things like that. Now it's about us obtaining our own gifts, us being more willing to actually feel. Feeling is the foundation of everything else Cancer's energy is going to provide for us, right? So we must feel to hear our intuition, we must feel to help others, and we must feel to grow into the next version of ourselves, the best version of ourselves. And I do believe feeling is the starting point of what we really want to manifest. Now, the sun and the moon are going to be conjunct in Cancer, so this is going to be a very potent time. I like to look at the sun as our outside world, our ego. I like to look at the moon as being our inner world, that goddess energy as well. So this is something that this new moon, I feel, in Cancer is going to help us to understand our emotions around our intentions on how they affect our manifestation abilities. If we do not feel our visions are already happening or become a reality, then we will have a challenging time bringing them into form. But I do believe it's a time to extend our energy into our vision, to embody them, to feel for any blockages, and to start materializing them. It's also about receiving information from ourselves, right? We're going to be getting a lot of different downloads from the Most High. This is going to help us with our dreams, definitely with our intuition, but definitely from our higher self. We're going to be more connected to the wisdom that extends past the present moment. We are going to connect with that infinite knowledge of the universe, including everything that has occurred in the past and in the future. Remember, this is that transformational cycle. This is that period where we're going to actually start to see the things start to come into our outer existence. So there is no limit to how much our intuition already knows. Any questions we might have with the moon energy about our path moving forward are already answered in regards to our intuition. So our job really is to find those answers, to listen, and to trust our flipping gut here. As we work through this new moon energy, We're going to put aside any impulses, though, to act or to do. This is about receiving. It really is. This is about understanding and being patient. It's something I need to even talk to myself about, being patient, but it's about receiving. We already know what it is. We already know what time it is. We've already set those intentions for previous new moons. With the summer solstice, we've already set everything in motion. But at the same time, we're still talking about this roller coaster of our mind, body, and soul. Cancer is going to remind us to feel, and I'm not going to get tired of saying that, is because the season is going to usher us in to slow down, to be patient, and to have that incredible feeling of knowing that everything is working out in our favor. But it is also about slowing us down just enough to be able to avoid different situations and circumstances, helping us to understand that patience is going to be of a virtue in a sense with ourselves, to receive that soul nourishment and to feel safe in the face of our own emotions. So think of this new moon as that fertile ground we talked about, that new beginning for a clean slate and a fresh start, a release from emotional baggage from the past. And it's quite understandable if we're not feeling completely social during these few days with this new moon energy. Just even yesterday, I had some type of soul awakening, some type of clairvoyance tapped into me while I was in the store, and emotions and energy was running straight to my head. And I do believe this is a great time for us to kind of relax and settle in and understand that we're still talking about this crab energy. We're still very sensitive in the inside. So caretaking and honoring our inner life can be richly rewarding at this time. And it will allow us to see the benefits taking shape in our outer world at the full moon. And we'll talk about that later on as it gets closer. But some of the themes I want to talk about in regards to the elements, fire, earth, air, and water signs. I want to start with the fire signs, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. I want to ask a question for all of us is, where are we putting up barriers that are keeping us small? We're going to need to step out of our comfort zone with this new moon in Cancer. Next, we have our earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Reflect on your relationships to determine which are supportive. What do you feel you need from others? Air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Assess where you can create a healthy work-life balance, and remember that rest is productive. Water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Focus on what you need to feel safe and secure. Commit to practicing more self-care and self-love. And just for the elements real quick, if you just hear me say self-care, self-love, having that balance in life, this is what this is all about. Making sure we're taking care of ourselves with this new moon and not putting too much expectation on others or getting our nose into other people's things that is actually detrimental to us. So now I want to talk about the entire horoscope just briefly. I'm not going to do a ton of analysis in regards to this, because if you do want a reading, please send me your first and last name, date of birth, time of birth, and location of birth, and I will give you the most exact reading. And I'm saying that is because now I just feel like it's very important for people to get readings to really understand it. I know I talk about it more on a holistic type way, but now I'm just going to give just minor points of what to expect in regards to the horoscope. So for Aries, this is going to be focused on your family, tapping into that fourth house. Taurus, communication. This is what this new moon is going to be about, that third house. Gemini is about that money, getting that check, that second house. Cancer, appearance, that first house of self. Leo, the mind, the secrets, the imagination. That's going to be your 12th house. Virgo is going to be about friends, associations, and your network. That's going to be your 11th house. Libras, it's about that work, that Capricorn energy. That's going to be your 10th house. Scorpio is about education, and that's going to be your 9th house, that Sag energy, tapping us into that spirituality even more. Sagittarius is actually going to be change. It's going to be your 8th house. Where do we need to transform? Capricorn is the love energy, that 7th house. Aquarius, your 6th house of health, maintenance. And Pisces, your 5th house of romance, creativity, and leaving a legacy. So I know we briefly talked about kind of the generalization of this new moon, but I want to kind of go a little deeper on kind of what to expect to feel. Obviously, emotional, nurturing, intuitive, and that intuition, but heightened intuition and emotions. You know, we are reminded that no emotion is wrong, and I did say this on my stream. Uh, you know, when we feel this energy, when we feel good, bad, or indifferent, that's okay, right? But definitely make sure we understand it, and then we're going to release this energy. And I do feel like this new moon is something that's going to help us to release a lot of the extra baggage and a lot of the extra bullshit we've been carrying on from ourselves, from our past, and from others. So this is definitely a great period to let that shit go. Also, being patient and give ourselves space to feel whatever we are feeling, right? There's no rush with this energy. There's definitely no rush to hurry up and try to get over something if we feel our inner emotions haven't quite helped us get that understanding. So we're asked to get really clear on our needs. We're asked to practice more self care, to reflect where we can step out of our comfort zone and to seek new opportunities, to assess what we need to feel safe and secure, particularly in our relationships, right? And that's with others and ourselves. But this is a great time to declutter and clear our home to usher in new energy. Remember, we're still talking about that home energy. We're just talking about it more into our internal home. But our physical home, I do see this is a great place to declutter, get some of the literal bullshit out. If we have too much stuff, sell it, give it away, so we can bring new energy into our actual physical homes. And also focus on doing what feels good to us as well. In my own personal life, I was doing things that didn't make me feel good, just for a check or just for some type of upper hand, possibly. But now it's about doing things that actually feel good in our life, in our being, in our soul. And I do think that is our purpose with this new energy. And also, how can we show ourselves more self love and kindness? When we feel good, we are able to manifest our desires. This is also a time to align with things, people, and situations that give us energy. We don't want any energy vampires around us. We are eliminating the people that actually just kind of bring us down, or just, you know, I just have a situation where people just call me if they want some type of spiritual advice, finances, or just something. And we're eliminating all these weird energy vampires from our soul and from our aura as well. Also, how can we allow others to support us so we can be honest about our needs? Sometimes we aren't honest about what we want people to do for us, and I do think this new moon is actually going to help us to understand and being okay with asking, "Hey, can you do this?" Hey, you know what I mean? Like, it's going to be one of those situations. This is a great thing for all of us to be honest about what we need from others, because they're going to tell us what they need from us. But we definitely have to say, hey, if you're not reciprocating this energy, we're just going to nip it in the bud and be done. So that's where we're at right now. We're just going to be honest with ourselves. And a time to retreat and renew our energy as well. We are reminded that rest is very productive, because we can run ourselves in the ground trying to take care of everything, take care of situations, and then we forget about taking care of ourselves. And that is why this time is, I believe, is about retreating into ourselves, into our soul, renewing our energy, so we can make this huge leap forward for this next wave in our life. Also, reflecting on how we want to feel and what brings us joy, and visualizing how we want our home life to look. I do think these are some things that we can expect to feel, and kind of some major themes of this new moon energy. Next, I want to talk about some do's and don'ts with this new moon. And this is very important, is because obviously we're doing this cosmic forecast, this weekly cosmic forecast, a bit different because it's centered around this new moon energy. But also, I want to talk about just generally what we should do and kind of not do from our own perspective. And like I said, take everything with what I say with a grain of salt, and please continue to do your own research with this energy. But I do think we need to surrender control. Cancer is basically, like I said, that mother goddess of the zodiac, uh, meaning being very overprotective. And that comes just with the territory. So we can be overprotected with the people we love. We can be overprotected with ourselves. But I do see this is because this is going to sit in opposition of Pluto, that planet of power. Remember, Pluto is retrograde right now in Capricorn, and that is so important because we just had the full moon in Capricorn in opposition of the Cancer Sun. Now it's kind of we're kind of doing the opposite, but we're looking at this new moon energy in opposition to Pluto. So this is a major lesson in giving up control and letting life take its natural course, letting the Most High do its work. We've done everything we can at this moment, especially in my own personal life, doing everything we can. And it's like, you know what? Let me just surrender and let the Most High take the wheel. What we shouldn't do or don't do is take on everybody's problems. And we talked about that a little bit earlier. It's like, yeah, being a caretaker is Cancer's specialty, right? But remember, we can't fix everybody. We can't help everybody. Avoid inserting ourselves in our loved ones' problems and their bullshit, taking on more than we can handle. I do think this is a time to rest and relax again. Avoid anybody that is putting you in their problems as well. Do prepare for changes. This is that, we talked about that rebirth. This is that new beginning. This new moon is naturally prompting us for new beginnings, right? Because of the sextile we talked about and Uranus being in Taurus. So we're poised with the unexpected turn of events. I always say when we're talking about Uranus, expect the unexpected. Always try to plan our best through the end. Let's plan for the different type of wrenches in our plans, for the hiccups that might come. But at the same time, this is a blueprint, but it's best to leave room, like I said, for the different twists and delays. But definitely expect great things coming with this new moon energy. What we don't want to do is seek external validation. Um, I do believe leaning on others and having great, healthy conversations and having people hold us accountable, I do think that's very important. But at the same time, that can turn into being like quite needy or trying to seek some type of validation or making, or even the internet trying to make us valid in the sense of the scam likes and the fake promo. That is something that I do see this energy is helping us to say, you know what, we don't need to rely on that bullshit. Other people don't know anything of what we're going through, and that's just social media trying to boost our confidence. But in reality, we're looking inward during this new moon to give ourselves that comfort that we seek from others, to give ourselves that validation and saying, you know what, I'm me, I feel good about who I am, and that's all that matters. And we're going to actually, what we should do now is follow our intuition. We're talking a lot about intuition, of course. We're talking about Cancer. We're talking about, the tides of the ocean. We're talking about the mother goddess of the zodiac. We're talking about the ruler, the moon, the ruler of Cancer. So this moon is going to handle everything that deals with our intuition. Don't ignore those daggone hunches. Pay attention to these angel numbers. We talked about that 777 portal, these different dreams we might be having, because this could save us some headache later on. Definitely trust our gut in this period, and that goes from here on out, right? Definitely trust your intuition. What we don't want to do is lash out, though. Remember, I'm a Cancer ascendant, so I have a little bit of Cancer, Sun in Leo. You know what time it is. But Cancer can be quite moody. This energy has a reputation for being hard. We're talking about the actual crab energy as being that hard outer shell and that soft center. Rather than responding kind of hastily in the face of conflict, we're going to keep poised, we're going to keep ourselves grounded, and we're going to lead the conversation with more compassion. And lastly, what we're going to do is do some dream work. Cancer naturally pulls us into our own intuition, which this is going to make a very auspicious time and aspect because of Neptune. That's the planet of dreams. Neptune is in Pisces. We're still talking about this water energy because this is going to set us up for spiritual downloads. We've been talking a ton about from the universe, and expect this here in the next few weeks, even the next couple of days. But the best way to keep on track is these synchronicities. Things are going to be working out for us, and I do think this has something to do with working with our dreams. And I'm going to say this till I get blue in the face. Definitely get a dream journal or write whatever things happen in when you're asleep or your subconscious, or you might have just random ideas. Definitely just write them down real quick or just put them in your phone. So lastly, I want to talk about some new moon rituals. Like I said, I'm not going to be talking so much about kind of every sign. I just want to give just kind of everything that I'm kind of tapped into with this one. And then, like I said, if you do want a reading, please send your info to @officialmontu-ra@gmail.com. For this new moon, we're going to talk about maybe looking at making some new moon water. That's just about putting some water in a cup. This is what I normally do sometimes, is put a water in a jar or a cup, leave it out overnight, and then I either drink it the next day or I save it for that full moon and just use it as kind of like a blessing type energy. Also, you can take like a late night dip in the ocean, or take a nice bath with some Epsom salt or sea salt in there, or maybe light some candles. But definitely using the water element, since we're talking about Cancer being a water sign as well, as something having like a nice ritual shower is something could be very useful during this period. And we can also use our tarot cards as well. That is something I see a lot of us do. Maybe do a quick reading, during this new moon, and kind of see what we want to manifest. And I definitely, we talked about Jan Spiller's New Moon Astrology book. You can find that on Amazon. Definitely tap into that. Is setting those 10 intentions during the first 8 to 10 hours after the new moon has peaked. So that's something to think about as well. Definitely practicing meditation with some healing crystals is something that I do and would recommend. Definitely cleansing and clearing our home with some type of sage, getting some sage and just kind of airing things out. Getting, after that, lighting some incense, maybe frankincense and myrrh is something that I would definitely do. Also, spend time alone and just reflect. That's something that we're all kind of doing, if we know it or not, just taking some time out in our day and just thinking, and I do think one of my mentors would say that. He was like, how many times do you just think? You just sit back and just think about things. And I at the time, I was like, I don't even think I even do it. And a lot of us don't, is because we got so much going on in our mind and we're trying to do so much and be so many places. Now is the time to kind of chill out, relax, and reflect with this new energy. Also, we can make a jar, like a spell jar. That's something that I've done as well. That's kind of coincides with the new water jar in a sense, but we could just kind of set an intention and then put whatever we want to manifest that corresponds with this Cancer energy. So we said water, we said sea salt. You can get something from the ocean, some type of shell would be great. So that's something I would definitely look into. And also, last but not least, is connecting with our loved ones and our family. We're still talking about this home life. We're still talking about our family. We're still talking about our loved ones with this Cancer energy. But definitely just connecting with the people that we love, the people that appreciate our energy, and we appreciate theirs. So that's something that I would definitely do with this new moon and these new moon rituals. I appreciate everybody for tapping in. It's the God, Young Montu-Ra. Definitely tap in with me if you do want a reading. I will be on Bigo Live pretty much daily doing astrology talk at 2 p.m. CEST time. And also, I'm going to be bringing some new music energy into the podcast. Haven't talked much about music, haven't talked much about business. So we're going to tap in a lot. But this is, this year has been very, very different. And especially astrologically, this is a very potent year. So we want to continue to tap in with this astrology on a weekly. I appreciate everybody for tapping in on today. Make sure you tap in with me on my socials at official Montu-Ra, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, and at official Montu_Ra on TikTok and Instagram. It's the God Young Montu-Ra, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.